climbed for my mother, who was diagnosed in 2010, and for her father, who passed away in 1990 from Parkinson's disease.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Aldrich. I joined Team Fox to hike Mount Kilimanjaro in honor and in memory of my father, Boyd, who had Parkinson's disease for 23 years and unfortunately passed away in 2021.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Connie Chan. I also climbed Mount Kilimanjaro on behalf of my dad, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's 10 years ago.
Good evening. My name is Betty Frances Thomason, and just over 4 years ago, my father, Bryson, was diagnosed with PD.
I'm Lucretia Pintacuda, and 7 years ago I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. When I was first diagnosed, I felt damaged, and I tried to conceal it from others, fearing the stigma that I myself associated with Parkinson's disease. I felt like people wouldn't trust me to do my job well, and that they would feel sorry for me. At first, I only revealed that I had Parkinson's to the members of my immediate household, my husband and my daughter. But I was resolved to slow down the progress of Parkinson's disease and discover the benefits of vigorous exercise. I had always been an avid outdoors woman, so hiking easily fit into my lifestyle. I started a hiking club, and I planned hikes for them every week. As time went on, I found I could function quite well for actually many years. So I trusted those in my innermost circle, including my other family members, my closest girlfriends, and members of my hiking team, with my secret. But I knew I couldn't hide my disease forever, as the changes were getting harder to conceal. So about a year ago, I decided to go public with my diagnosis and applied to join the Fox Foundation's team of endurance athletes to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the highest freestanding mountain in the world at 19,341 feet. It is called the Roof of Africa. I had three goals for this decision. I wanted to bring awareness and change the stigma about Parkinson's to those who don't have it. I wanted to inspire both those with and without Parkinson's to live vibrantly. And I wanted to be a part of the Michael J. Fox Foundation by raising funds needed for research to find a cure for this disease.
When my dad was first diagnosed, it was overwhelming. I didn't understand the disease beyond fear-inducing Google searches. I wasn't sure how to be there for my dad, and I didn't know what the future held for him and our family. Over time, I found purpose through action. Raising money and awareness through Team Fox has connected my dad and our family with a network of others affected by PD. I've always loved movement, something I think I inherited from my dad. But the Kili expedition was daunting at first. Nevertheless, my family and friends rallied and supported me every step of the way, literally. Like Lucretia, I wanted to spread awareness and raise money for research through the climb, but I also wanted to do something to honor my dad and his fight with Parkinson's.
So I had 4 months to prepare for the expedition and raise the required funds requested by the Fox Foundation. It was a lot to get done, especially trying to assemble all the gear and clothing that I would need on the trek that couldn't weigh more than 30 pounds and had to fit inside a duffel bag.
Unlike Lucretia, I had just 6 weeks to prepare for the climb. I was nervous about everything. Would I be able to raise enough money? Was I physically and mentally ready for the climb? Did I have the right equipment? Would I fit in with the 8 other climbers?
On August 7th, the team met for the first time in Moshi, Tanzania. We ranged in age from 19 to 67. With 4 of the group actually having Parkinson's disease. None of us knew each other before the climb, and we were all united, though, in our dedication to make a difference for the Parkinson's community. Now, I was apprehensive that the group would not accept a woman old enough to be their mother or grandmother. I was worried they wouldn't think I could keep up or carry my load.
Looking back, I could not have handpicked a better team for our adventure. Our wide range of personalities formed a well-rounded group, but our common experiences with Parkinson's disease helped us connect on an extremely deep level. Along the way, we learned when to talk, when to enjoy the quiet of the mountain, and how best to encourage each other. I have special memories with each of my teammates that will remain with me for the rest of my life.
Just before our trek, we learned that our trip was shortened from 8 days and 7 nights to 7 days and 6 nights. This meant that we would start our climb at 11,000 feet, which was a big disadvantage for developing altitude sickness.
Leading up to the climb, I had felt somewhat alone in my anxieties about what we were undertaking. I was relieved to find that my teammates shared the same worries, and it was comforting to talk through them together.
So the next few days, the struggle was real. Though we hiked at a pole-pole rate, which in Swahili means slowly, slowly, the altitude made every step a struggle. The sun, the cold, the wind, and the dust were a challenge too. But for me, the greatest challenge was actually trying to manage the small space of the tent that I was to sleep in.
And despite the physical exhaustion, we lost our appetites and it was hard to sleep at night. The altitude had our resting heart rates very elevated, no pun intended. I found my mind racing about the previous day's journeys and what was still to come. The stars reminded me of my dad.
So we hiked high, we slept low, going from 13,000 to 15,000 and back to 13,000 feet most days. On the 5th day, we were finally at the base camp and the summit was in sight.
We were at our most nervous on summit night. After 5 full days of hiking leading up to base camp, the most difficult 5 kilometers in our ascent were still to come. We were under strict time constraints as well, to minimize the effects of the altitude.
After donning several layers of clothes and grabbing some nourishment, we were set to begin the last leg of our climb to reach the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. Our guides had us circle up while they said a prayer for our safety and our success to reach the peak.
We began our summit just before midnight. It was a moonless night with 0-degree temperatures. We could see lines of other climbers and their steady headlights illuminating the way ahead of us, twinkling stars in the sky above, and the glittery lights of the town of Moshi way down in the distance. It was beautiful, but all of our focus was on putting one foot in front of the other.
As I took it all in, I felt very, very small, and yet somehow very connected to a force outside of myself.
We stopped frequently along the way to catch our breath. The altitude was affecting several of us severely. We shared everything: water, medications, energy snacks, electrolytes, and encouragement.
After hours of climbing in the dark, the first hint of dawn emerged on the horizon.
We stopped as a group to take it all in. It is still the most beautiful sunrise I have ever seen.
The bright orange glow created a sharp line of distinction from the darkness of the earth. At over 18,000 feet elevation, we could actually see the gentle curve of the earth.
We waited to see the sun itself break through. It offered light, warmth, and hope, and re-energized our drive to the summit.
After about 8 hours, we reached Stella's Point at 18,885 feet, but we didn't stop. We kept going, knowing that the only way to get there was to take one step at a time, putting one foot in front of the other. No one was going to carry us to the top, and every step took tremendous energy.
Our lungs were aching, our legs felt heavy, but together we carried on. And then we were there, at 19,341 feet. all 9 of us summited Mount Kilimanjaro.
I was immediately overcome with emotion. I had made it. I was there at Uhuru Peak.
Uhuru Peak is so named because it means freedom. Perhaps for us, it meant freedom from the challenges of living with PD, or from seeing a loved one struggle with PD.
Once again, I felt small and humble, as I knew that it took many people supporting me to get there. I wanted to thank every person who donated to my fund, who trained with me, who offered words of encouragement and prayers. I wanted to thank Michael J. Fox and the Fox Foundation for what they had done for all of us with Parkinson's.
It was surreal. Past struggles with PD and any worries about the future of the disease felt smaller in that moment. As our teammate Alex beautifully said, we didn't find the cure for Parkinson's at Uhuru Peak that day. But we summited in spite of everything that Parkinson's has thrown at us and taken from us and tormented us with. Each step we took on the mountain brought us closer to finding a cure for PD. There were 9 Team Fox hikers on the summit that day, but we represented an extensive network of family, friends, donors, and other supporters committed to the end of Parkinson's.
But you know, our story doesn't end here. Some of us have given talks about the trek and the Fox Foundation. One of our group, Justin, who has been a true advocate by starting a podcast, giving interviews, and speaking to various elected officials, he's blazed the way too for those with a DBS, because Justin has a DBS and he made it to new heights, which has revolutionized the thought that people with DBS can even get to that elevation.
We are forever part of the Team Fox family, and will continue to support the foundation as long as we are able. Lucretia, Kristen, and Joe competed at the Walt Disney Race Series this past January. Alex's next adventure is Mount Whitney at the end of this summer, and I'd love to run the New York Marathon with Team Fox someday. In an effort led by our teammates Joanne Simmons and Kristen Gillen, we have given back to the porters and guides who made our journey possible. Joe and Kristen, I'd love if y'all could speak about what we've done.
I'm a little nervous. So basically, we're just going to talk about what we've done with our porters and guides since we've left Africa. We were so overcome with all of the love and support that they showed us while we were on our adventure up Mount Kilimanjaro that we decided to pay it forward to them. Knowing that they earn very, very little money and they are completely reliant on the generosity of their clients' tips and then the donations of equipment after the climb, we wanted to do more for them and offer to them some support than what we had already done, basically, to empower them and lift them up. When we returned from our climb in August, we worked with January, who was our assistant guide and camp manager, to get equipment that they needed, such as boots that actually fit them or boots at all, because many of them climb the mountain without boots. Warm jackets and pants for summit night when it's below freezing temperatures, water bottles, headlamps, socks, sleeping bags, and mattresses. But it did not end there. We were actually able to pay for 3 of our porters to go to English school, which is required to attend mountain guide school, which will ultimately double their income later on. We were able to pay for 2 sewing machines, one for one of our porters' wives so that she was able to start her own business, making souvenirs for tourists and other items using African fabrics like these that we're wearing today. She made for us for tonight. And Joe and I actually just got back from Tanzania, where we revisited all of the spots that we had gone to, and we brought all of the equipment with us in 9 bags total, duffel bags, of equipment that was both donated, purchased for them, and collected over the last several months.
of the GoFundMe that we created, we purchased supplies and a sewing machine for a local orphanage in Arusha. The sewing machine is used to make reusable sanitary pads. Sadly, we still live in a world where women, especially young women, don't have access to basic needs, and their education suffers, and so do their futures. And we'd like to help further by providing more funds to the orphanage and other women in the community to empower them to open up their own businesses. We are committed to leaving this world better than we found it, and watching the ripple effect of how a small amount can change the lives of many. We're hoping that the next Kili group will continue our work and help more people in the community that we've been touched by.
For me, the climb was a metaphor for my journey with Parkinson's disease, especially the summit. We started out in the dark, not being able to see what lay ahead, just like when I got diagnosed. The struggle was difficult, and at times I wanted to sit down and just give up. But the light of dawn gave us hope and renewed determination to get to the top, just like our journey to find the cure. While each of us is on our own path with Parkinson's disease, we don't have to climb the mountain alone. We can do it together, and together we will reach the summit and find the cure. Thank you, Michael J. Fox, for your example, your courage, and your determination to bring us together as a family to fight this disease and find the cure so that there will be no more fear or stigma to hearing that you or your loved one has Parkinson's disease.
I am also overwhelmed with gratitude to my teammates for everything they did to care for me along the way, to the foundation for engaging our community in progress towards a cure, to my mom, who helped me prepare for every aspect of the climb, to my family and friends who uplifted me before, during, and after our journey, to my dad's friends who supported us with generous donations and spread awareness about our climb, and to my dad. You have supported me in everything that I have ever wanted to do, encouraging me to embrace challenge rather than fear it. I am inspired by your resiliency in your fight with Parkinson's, and I can only hope to live my life with the same perseverance.
We became family on this adventure, and it changed our lives forever. We hope our story will inspire others to live vibrantly, to give charitably, and with the work of the Michael J. Fox Foundation, we hope to see the cure soon.